Good evening, everyone. I'm Kevin Hodge. Tonight on your WZMQ 19 News, another fire in Escanaba. We'll tell you about the house fire that's left one resident injured. Plus, the funding is coming to the UP in an effort to protect against harmful health effects from lead. We'll have the details. And there's party infighting in the nation's capital. We'll break down the latest arguments currently taking place in Washington, D.C. Your 19 News at 6 starts now.
Live from the UP. This is WZMQ 19 News at 6.
And a good evening there, UP. We are looking at fairly tranquil weather as we head on through tonight. Skies will be partly cloudy overall and cold out there, mid-teens here in Marquette, down to the single digits along the Wisconsin-UP border there, so a little bit chilly there. And back to some partly sunny skies, not too bad as we head on toward tomorrow. Temperatures stay on the cold side. Stay tuned, the rest of the forecast coming up later in the show.
Tom, thank you very much, and good to see you again, my friend. Overnight in Escanaba, one individual was injured in a residential fire. Escanaba Public Safety was dispatched to a home on South 17th Street just before 2:30. When firefighters arrived, heavy flames had fully engulfed the front of the house. It took Public Safety about 3 hours to fully contain the fire and to conduct overhaul operations. One resident was transported to OSF St. Francis Hospital to be treated for minor injuries. An adjacent house also took minor damage from the heat. The cause of the fire remains under investigation. Gogebic County authorities have arrested a 32-year-old woman on multiple drug trafficking charges. Investigators say Rachel Porter was bringing meth from Oneida County, Wisconsin, and selling it across the UP. After coordinating with Wisconsin drug enforcement teams, officers tracked her vehicle to Ironwood on November 22nd. When they pulled her over, a canine alerted to drugs inside, and a search uncovered meth and cocaine. Porter now faces several charges and remains in the Gogebic County Jail with additional charges expected. The Department of Health and Human Services is granting Michigan communities more than $8 million to reduce lead exposure. Our Escanaba reporter Lily Simmons tells us how one UP organization is helping local residents.
Public Health Delta and Menominee counties has been awarded $855,000 to expand its lead hazard control services.
When I started here, we had a childhood lead poisoning prevention grant that offered a lot of education to families, but no real follow-up. Through a lot of advocacy and partnership, we got funds to abate homes throughout the whole UP.
Lead is a toxin to the human body, and it gets stored in bones. Public Health says it's dangerous for everyone, but especially for children.
Any heavy metal in their bones is a real hindrance to their growth. It causes neurological defects. It can lower IQ. They have trouble paying attention. They have trouble with growth and development. It really can affect every system of the body.
Medicaid recipients can apply to receive a lead inspection and hazard mitigation.
Replacing windows, doors, lead-based paint, flooring. We also do a lot of exterior work in terms of like soil abatement, siding, a little bit of roof repair.
Lead paint and other items are most commonly found in older homes.
It's usually just houses before 1978 that have the lead-based paint. And then if people live in a newer home but they're really into like antiques or eclectic things, then some of those items can really have an effect.
Other potential lead hotspots are faucets, as those made before 2014 were not mandated to be lead-free.
If we know the faucet is pre-2014, or if we don't know the age, we just replace the faucet. We also have an education session about cleaning your aerators. A lot of people don't know you can unscrew the part of your faucet that the water comes out of, and you can clean that little mesh piece on the inside where debris gets trapped, and lead can also get trapped in that.
The Health and Human Services funding will support the department's goal of serving about a dozen houses per year, providing an invaluable service for Upper Peninsula families.
The UP in general has a very old housing stock. That's kind of why we really focus on the kids, because they are still growing and developing, and any hindrance to that is a deficit for them.
Reporting in Escanaba, Lily Simmons, WZMQ 19 News.
The Trump administration is reviewing immigration policies, visas, and sending more National Guard troops to D.C. following last week's shooting against 2 National Guard members. One of the service members has died. The other is in serious condition. Our Washington, D.C. correspondent Rachel Knapp shares the latest.
we're going to honor Sarah. And likewise with Andrew, recover or not.
On Sunday, the president said he invited the families of the 2 National Guardsmen who were shot last week to the White House. Sarah Beckstrom died, and the West Virginia governor says Andrew Wolf is still in serious condition. The shooting happened the day before Thanksgiving, about a block and a half away from the White House. Officials say the suspect, a 29-year-old man from Afghanistan, appeared to have targeted the National Guardsmen. Officials say the suspect entered the U.S.-Ray Biden administration temporary program, which helped Afghan nationals flee Taliban rule. The administration is now looking to step up their anti-immigration policies following the shooting.
It also means reckoning with why this atrocity was allowed to happen in the first place, so that it may never occur again.
The administration paused all asylum decisions and stopped issuing visas to people from Afghanistan. But that's not all. On top of the roughly 2,000 National Guards members already in the capital, the president is also looking to add 500 more National Guard to D.C. to build up the president's anti-crime initiative. We asked visitors how they felt about it. Some off-camera told us they didn't think additional National Guard is necessary, but other visitors say otherwise.
To be honest, if I think that the president wants to do that and he needs to do it and to keep the public safe, why not?
But I think he needs a bit more information, like who's the shooter, is he part of a gang, a group, a bigger scope. It's keeping the people safe, but you've got to remember the guards have also got families, so it's putting them at risk as well. So until we know more information, was it just a one-off random, or is this like an organisation? If it was an organisation, then perhaps, but I think he needs to find out a bit more.
In Washington, Rachel Knapp, WZMQ 19 News.
Productivity and compromise are sometimes hard to find in Washington, but in recent weeks, it's been nearly impossible. Members on both sides of the aisle are feeling frustrated, as made clear by dozens of retirement announcements and even a surprise resignation by a close Trump ally. Our Washington, D.C. correspondent Brendan Scanlon is live on Capitol Hill with new details tonight. Brendan, good evening to you, sir. What can you tell us?
Hey there, Kevin. Good evening to you. Well, partisan attacks and even party infighting are really nothing new on Capitol Hill. However, recent events suggest they may be reaching a tipping point here in Washington. Within the last few weeks alone, we've seen a record-breaking government shutdown, an unsanctioned push from rank-and-file members to release those Epstein files, numerous censure votes to punish lawmakers for their actions, a surprise early resignation from Marjorie Taylor Greene, and dozens of retirements after this current term. In a 4-page letter announcing her resignation, Greene ripped into Republicans and President Trump, essentially saying and accusing them of abandoning their party's priorities and campaign promises. After Greene's announcement, Punchbowl News first reported last week that other House Republicans are also considering retiring in the middle of the term. In the article, a senior House Republican told Punchbowl News, quote, more explosive early resignations are coming. It's a tinderbox, end quote. Sources I've spoken with have told me they too expect a few more House Republicans to soon call it quits. But the big question, Kevin, is really how many and when. If just a handful of Republicans follow Greene's footsteps and decide to leave before the end of their term, that can have really big consequences on the Republicans' already razor-thin House majority. I asked Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt earlier today if the president was concerned about more early resignations as well as the reported unrest among some House Republicans. Does the president have any concerns in light of those reports about other House Republicans potentially leaving early, as well as the other announced retirements that we saw in the last couple of days?
Look, I think the president maintains very good relationships with the vast majority, maybe with the exception of one or two. I think many in this room know who I'm referring to. Very good relationships with members of Capitol Hill within the Republican Party. And the president clearly is the unequivocal leader of the Republican Party. And of course, we have a very slim margin in the House, and the president wants that to continue.
And Kevin, just this past weekend, Republican Congressman Troy Nehls of Texas announced that he would be retiring at the end of this current term. He is one of more than 24 House Republicans and at least 20 House Democrats who will be calling it quits in 2026. Reporting live on Capitol Hill for WZMQ 19 News, I'm Brendan Scanlon. Kevin, back to you.
Brendan, thank you very much as always. Your first warning weather forecast with Tom DeVecchio's after the break. He'll let us know when we might get our next batch of snow. And later, Jim Koski will tell us why he's considered an oxymoronic youper. We'll have your life in the 906, and we'll be back in 2 minutes.
Now, from the 19 News Forecast Center, this is WZMQ 19 First Warning Weather.
Hello to UP. Hope you enjoyed your weekend, and things are looking pretty tranquil as we get into the nighttime hours here. And Futurecast not showing much here. Some bands of lake effect well out over Lake Superior. No problems here on land, including Marquette here. We'll have some patchy clouds around, low clouds here and there into the balance of tonight. Tomorrow, not too bad either. Lots of sunshine for much of the day, even though the temperatures will definitely be on the cold side. And then the clouds increase late in the day as this next somewhat Arctic front slides into the region, mainly after midnight on Tuesday night. The front itself will probably give off some snow bands here, and then you can see that classic northwest flow and those bands of lake effect here. Marquette, you yourself probably won't get hit a lot with this into Wednesday night, but some locally higher amounts are expected in some of the heavier bands. In the meantime, as we head on through tonight, the winds die down, but they're going to stay pretty much out of the southwest through the day on Tuesday. Not exceptionally strong for the most part. You can see by the end of the day, looking at about a 5 to 15 mile an hour wind out of the southwest. And as we go toward Monday or Wednesday morning, notice that front goes through behind that Arctic front, as is often the case really for the UP. We get strong northwesterly winds, and you can see the reds out over Lake Superior. So wind gusts along the shoreline here could get close to 30 miles an hour at times during Wednesday and Wednesday afternoon. Snowfall amounts, Marquette maybe an inch or so. Where you see the darker blues here, that's where you can get locally. Typical spots are the northwest flow in the snow belts along the western shores from Eagle Harbor to Ironwood. Munising, you have a potential maybe 6 inches of snow from this. The majority of you go, though, getting anywhere from 1/2 to locally up to 3 inches by the end of the day on Wednesday. So the snow chances up through tonight and into Tuesday, not all that large, as you can see, flatlining here, and then later on Tuesday night goes up as that front approaches. So for tonight, patchy clouds around, temperatures dropping into the mid-teens. And we'll keep it mostly clear as we head toward daybreak on Tuesday. After that, snow showers around for Wednesday. Good wind. You saw the snow amounts there, and some leftover flurries, though, for Thursday. Outside of Wednesday, it looks like a pretty tranquil week with temperatures into the mid-20s on Friday. And we're going to keep it cold. Chance of a little bit of light snow as we head toward the upcoming weekend.
Tom, thank you again, sir. And still to come on your 19 News, making the holidays brighter for local kids, how one organization is stepping up to fight food insecurity, plus the massive event bringing the community together to make it all happen. We'll be right back after this.
You're watching WZMQ 19 News, live and local, with Kevin Hodge.
Welcome back, everyone. A Copper Country organization is making sure local kids have access to nutritious food this holiday season. The Keweenaw Health Foundation has donated $5,000 to 31 backpacks, which provides critical support for at-risk children in Houghton and Keweenaw counties. The money will be used to purchase food and essential supplies and support the Big Pack. It's the organization's largest annual event where dozens of volunteers assemble food bags for students to take home on Christmas break. 31 Backpacks says the holiday season is one of the most challenging times of the year for families facing food insecurity. With the support of the Keweenaw Health Foundation, more Copper Country families will be able to enjoy Christmas festivities without added stress. If you'd like to support 31 Backpacks, you can find more information on WZMQ19.com. And it's the time of year when parents may be considering that first smartphone as a holiday gift. Now, new research suggests owning smartphones at a younger age could increase the risk of some health issues. Stephanie Stahl has more.
The LaChapelle family loves spending time outside.
We encourage outdoor play and independent play as much as possible.
Mom Elise has signed the Wait Until 8th pledge, a promise not to give her children smartphones until at least the end of 8th grade.
It was very important to me to delay smartphones and delay social media because I think it's very easy to see the effect that they have on kids, the effect they have on their attention spans and their social skills and their overall mental health.
New research published in the journal Pediatrics suggests having a smartphone before age 12 could increase some health risks.
Compared to kids who do not have a smartphone at age 12 or by age 12, those who did have a smartphone had overall worse health outcomes. They had more chances of having depression, obesity, and insufficient sleep.
Dr. Rand Barzilai at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia co-authored the study looking at data from more than 10,500 children. While the research did not look at why, he says there could be several potential mechanisms.
More time on smartphone may be related to less time during, for example, physical activity, something that can protect both from obesity and is also good for one's mental health.
He adds, for teens, smartphones can play a role in social connections, learning, and safety, providing a child's location for parents. Balancing the positive and negative is key.
We limit iPad usage to 20 minutes a day. There's no YouTube. There's no social gaming of any kind.
Elise hopes more families will get on board and that delaying smartphones will become the new norm.
Researchers plan to investigate further and look at smartphone usage patterns that could be linked to these potentially negative health effects. Jim Koski's next with your Life in the 906. Plus, we'll see how the Peter White Public Library is helping ring in the holidays. We'll check out their Christmas tree display when we come back. Welcome back, everyone. Mr. Jim Koski, welcome back to you, sir. Today, you're going to tell us what many of us kind of already know. You're a little bit of a weird guy.
Okay, thanks for bringing that up, Kevin. But you know what? You're not wrong. For someone who was born in the UP, I'll be the first to admit that I might really not be a stereotypical creature of the UP. I've been trying to figure out a way to describe it, and I think I may have stumbled upon the answer this weekend. I am an oxymoronic youper. Now, what exactly is an oxymoronic youper? Well, I'll offer myself as an example. I prefer concrete to campfires, Wi-Fi to the wilderness. I use a camera for shooting instead of a gun. I do not drool over the thought of kudigi, and I really do not like the snow and the cold. Yet, I choose to live here, which I guess makes me an oxymoronic youper. And by the way, you're more than welcome to leave the oxy part of that statement out. You will not hurt my feelings one bit. So while I am the perfect candidate to be a charter member of the Island of Misfit Youpers, there are times when I get what it means to be a Youper. I'll often use the phrase magical place in which we live, and believe it or not, this past weekend's blizzard actually proved it to me. Despite my personal opinions on it, snow really does have an ethereal beauty all its own. When it first falls, it can take your breath away and make you realize that there are very few places on the planet where you can see the majesty of what lies before you. Of course, then you have to go home and shovel 80,000 inches of the stuff, after which your definition of the magical place in which we live is changed forever. So if you're someone who, like me, has ever felt like you're not quite a true Youper, don't worry about it. Odds are it will happen sometime. One day you'll take a walk in the woods, or you'll eat a kudigi sandwich, or come across some newly fallen snow and say to yourself, you know, it's not my cup of tea, but I get why people like it. I'm Jim Koski, oxymoronic Youper, and apparently all-around weird guy. And that's another slice of life in the 906.
Jim, I'm sorry. Of course I mean weird in the best possible way. You know that, right?
Dude, I take that as a badge of honor, okay?
Jim, thank you very much. Hey, I know you had a very interesting Thanksgiving, too. You want to take a quick second to tell us about that?
Oh, you mean when I started to cook my turkey, the power went out at my apartment. I actually had to bundle it up in this carrier and then slug it down to my parents to cook in their oven, and then put it back in the carrier and then bring it all the way back up the hill in a snowstorm, blindfolded, uphill, both ways.
Jim, that's why they call you a legend, sir. Everybody. Jim, thank you very much. And don't forget to join Jim weekday afternoons on Q107 WMQT. Tree decorating is underway for the 2025 Winter Solstice Art and Evergreen Program. Each December, the Peter White Public Library holds an opportunity for local artists, nonprofits, classes, and businesses to decorate a Christmas tree set up alongside local art in the library's gallery. This year, the program has expanded throughout the building, where around 50 trees will be decorated by next week to be displayed through the middle of January. The library director says each year brings a unique amount of effort from all organizations.
And we're hoping this year it's a little bit more of a full building experience. And the tree is decorated representing either what they provide as a service or their business. And so it's just a way to engage with the community over the holiday season.
Any participating groups have until Friday, December 5th to complete their tree decorations. Now don't go away, we'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everyone. Let's get a final look at how the weather's looking out there in downtown Marquette. Roads still aren't the best condition, with an exception for some of the most traveled areas. So if you do plan on going out, it's advised to take a little extra time in order to get to your destination safely. As always, it's a good idea to keep an emergency kit in your car filled with items like blankets, flashlights, shovels, and other things to keep warm. Not much of a chance we'll see the amount of snow we received last week, but it's possible some areas in the UP could see a little bit more on Wednesday. And finally tonight, a special holiday delivery for shelter animals in Delta County. On Thursday, Kindness Rocks UP brought in a full Thanksgiving meal for each animal at the Delta Animal Shelter. In total, 26 dogs, 85 cats, and a few other smaller friends were fed a serving of turkey, gravy, and other treats. The founder of Kindness Rocks says the initiative aimed to assist in the shelter's food supplies around the cold and busy time of the year and bring a sense of home and hope to these animals. That's all for now, everyone. We'll see you later tonight.